1, 2, 3, 4.
Wanna hear you go.
I am Sahar Andrade, your AI whisperer. By education, I am a medical doctor. Never practiced medicine, but still carry the beauty of neuroscience in me. I am also a Forbes Coach Council member and the creator of Regulated Leadership for AI Disruption programs. This podcast, the AI Cafe Conversations, exists because every other AI show teaches you what AI can do or how to implement it, or the technology behind it, or leadership alone. But nobody teaches you how to connect the dots between all of them. Nobody teaches you how to regulate your nervous system so you can actually lead through the transformation. I work with CEOs, COOs, CHROs, leaders, team leaders, and high achievers who are brilliant at business but whose amygdala are hijacking their AI strategy. If you're tired of making fear-based decisions about AI, this is your show. You just asked ChatGPT to draft your quarterly strategy. Then you asked it to prioritize your team's projects. Then you asked it which candidate to hire. And you felt relief because the decision was validated. But here is what you didn't feel: your judgment muscle atrophying. MIT research just confirmed what neuroscience have been warning about. AI is quietly eroding executive decision-making capacity. It's called judgment atrophy. And it's the silent killer of executive leadership in 2026. My name is Sahar Andrade, like I introduced myself earlier, and this is the AI Cafe Conversations. I know that other shows like Lex Friedman's Philosophical Deep Dives or How Your Brain Works generally, like Huberman's Labs Optimization Protocols, or Where to Implement IE, AI, and EQ for ROI, like Emerge's Business Strategy. We teach you how to regulate your nervous system so you can lead through AI transformation without fear-based decisions, judgment atrophy, or executive burnout. Because in 2026, your competitive advantage is not the AI you deploy. It's whether you can stay regulated while deploying it. So if you are a CEO, COO, or CHRO, or a team leader, high achiever, navigating AI disruption without a technical background, and you're tired of making fear-based decisions about AI, stick with me. Today we are talking about judgment atrophy. The MIT study that just came out is brutal. It shows that executives who delegate decisions to AI, even simple ones like email prioritization, experience measurable decline in prefrontal cortex activity. The prefrontal cortex is actually your brain decision-making pathways. Literally weaken when you stop using them. This is not about avoiding AI. I stand by AI. I love AI. I use AI every single minute. But again, it's not about avoiding AI. That ship has sailed. That train has left the station, my friends. This is about understanding the neuroscience of what happens when you delegate judgment to algorithms, and learning what regulated leaders do differently to use AI without losing their ability to think strategically. Let's go. Here is what's happening in executive suites right now. Leaders are quietly outsourcing their judgment to AI. The real patterns: should I approve this hire? Ask AI. Should we pivot strategy? Ask AI. Is this the right priority? Ask AI. How should I respond to the board? Ask AI. I'm guilty of that too. And then I realized that, maybe I should take everything with a grain of salt and just push back. And every time you ask AI instead of thinking through the decision yourself, you are reinforcing a neural pattern. Uncertainty equals offload to AI. The MIT study tracked 2,400 executives across 18 months. 2,400 executives. They measured prefrontal cortex activation during decision-making tasks. The finding? Executives who regularly used AI for strategic decisions showed 23% reduction in prefrontal cortex engagement when making similar decisions without AI. 23%. That's judgment atrophy. But here is the science. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for strategic thinking, weighing trade-offs, considering long-term consequences, operates on a use it or lose it principle. Every time you make a decision, you strengthen your neural pathways. Every time you delegate a decision to AI, those pathways weaken. It's like a muscle. If you stop lifting weights, you lose strength. If you stop exercising judgment, you lose judgment capacity. But here is what dysregulated leaders don't see. They think they're being efficient. Why should I spend 20 minutes thinking through email prioritization when AI can do it in 2 seconds? Why should I draft this strategy when AI can generate options faster? Why should I make hiring decisions when AI can analyze candidate data better? They are not wrong about AI being faster or more data comprehensive. They are wrong about what they are losing in the process. Dysregulated leaders confuse efficiency with effectiveness. Efficiency equals getting more done faster. Effectiveness equals making better decisions that drive outcomes. AI gives you efficiency, but if you're not careful, it costs you effectiveness. Because effectiveness requires judgment, and judgment requires practice. Here where it gets dangerous. Judgment atrophy is invisible until it's catastrophic. You don't wake up one day and realize you can't make decisions anymore. It's gradual. You start second guessing yourself more. Let me check what AI thinks. You feel anxiety when AI isn't available. How did you feel when Claude was out for a full day? I had withdrawals myself, but so you feel anxiety when AI is not available. I can't decide this without running it through ChatGPT first. You defer to AI even when your gut says something different. Well, the AI said X, so I guess that's what we should do. And then one day you are in a board meeting, a critical decision needs to be made, high stakes, ambiguous data, no clear right answer, and you realize you don't know how to think through this anymore. Your brain has been outsourcing this exact type of complex judgment to AI for months. The neural pathways are weak. You have lost the capacity to sit with uncertainty and work through strategic ambiguity. That's judgment atrophy. And dysregulated leaders don't see it coming because it feels like relief in the moment. Thank God AI can handle this. One less thing for me to stress about. But what they are really doing is trading short-term relief for long-term strategic incapacity. So what does judgment atrophy actually cost you? First, strategic blindness. The MIT study found something fascinating. Executives with judgment atrophy could still make tactical decisions fine. Should we approve these vendor contracts? AI gives you answer, they execute. But when asked to make strategic decisions requiring synthesis of multiple competing priorities, long-term consequence weighing, stakeholder trade-offs, they froze. Or worse, they make decisions that optimize for short-term metrics, like what AI excels at analyzing, while missing long-term strategic implications, what requires human judgment. Example from the study, Two CEOs faced the same decision. Should we enter a new market? CEO A, high AI dependence, judgment atrophy, asked AI to analyze market data. AI said yes. 73% probability of ROI within 18 months. CEO approved market entry. 18 months later, ROI hit, but it cannibalized their core product and destroyed brand positioning. CEO B, low AI independence or dependence, preserved judgment, asked AI to analyze market data. AI said same thing. Yes, 73% probability of ROI. CEO synthesized ROI is attractive, but this risks our brand differentiation. What's the second order effect on customer perception? CEO decided not to enter the market. 18 months later, competitors who entered that market hit ROI targets but lost brand value. CEO B, company maintained premium positioning. Same data, same AI recommendation, different judgment capacity. CEO A had atrophied judgment optimized for what AI could measure. CEO B had preserved judgment, considered what AI could not measure. Second cost, decision paralysis. Here is the paradox. Executives develop AI dependence to reduce decision anxiety, but judgment atrophy increases decision anxiety. Why? Because when your judgment muscle is weak, every decision feels overwhelming. You can't trust your gut anymore because you haven't been exercising it. You can't synthesize complex trade-offs because those neural pathways are weak. So you become more dependent on AI, which further atrophies your judgment, which increases anxiety, the chicken or the egg. It's a vicious cycle. The MIT researchers called it algorithmic learned helplessness. Executives who outsourced judgment to AI eventually lost confidence in their ability to make decisions without AI validation. They would make a strategic call, then immediately second guess themselves and check with AI. If AI disagreed, they had override their own judgment, even when their gut was right and AI was wrong. Third cost, loss of executive presence. Your team can sense judgment atrophy. When you constantly defer to AI, let me run this through ChatGPT first, or Claude, or Perplexity, or Gemini, or Grok, or Meta, whatever you're using. Or the AI analysis said we should, or I will need to validate this with the algorithm. Your team starts wondering, are you leading or is the AI leading? And here is the brutal truth. Teams don't allow or don't follow algorithms. They follow leaders with judgment. When your team sees you deferring every decision to AI, they lose confidence in your leadership. Not because AI is wrong, but because leadership requires the ability to make calls in ambiguous situations when data is incomplete and stakes are high. AI can do that. Only human can. And if you have atrophied your judgment, you can't either. Fourth cost, the $670,000 dysregulation tax. Remember our earlier episode about the cost of dysregulated leadership? Judgment atrophy is a specific form of dysregulation. When you can't make decisions without AI validation, you are operating from dysregulated nervous system. Your amygdala perceives uncertainty as threat. Your prefrontal cortex, weakened by disuse, can't override the threat response. So you offload to AI to reduce the threat sensation. And here is what's happening physiologically. Every time you avoid exercising judgment, you reinforce the neural pattern. Uncertainty equals threat equaled avoid. Neuroplasticity at its best. negative way though. Your tolerance for ambiguity decreases. Your capacity for strategic thinking weakens. And the cost? Delayed decisions, missed opportunities, strategic drift. The MIT study quantified it. Companies led by executives with high judgment atrophy had 34% slower strategic pivot times compared to companies led by executives with preserved judgment. 34%. In a world where AI is accelerating change, being 34% slower to pivot is catastrophic. That's the cost of judgment atrophy. So what do regulated leaders do about judgment atrophy? First, they use AI for data processing, not decision making. Regulated leaders understand the distinction. AI excels at processing large data sets, identifying patterns, generating options, analyzing possibilities. Humans excel at weighing competing values, considering second-order effect, synthesizing context, making calls with incomplete information. Regulated leaders use AI for what it's good at, then exercise their own judgment for what humans are good at. Example, this regulated leader asked ChatGPT, should I approve this strategic partnership? Regulated leader says, ChatGPT, analyze the financial and operational data on this partnership. Give me the pros, cons, and key risks. Then I will make the strategic call based on our long-term vision and stakeholder implications. Same AI, different relationship. What did we say when we started AI? Garbage in, garbage out. It still stands. This regulated leader offloads judgment. Regulated leader uses AI to inform judgment, then makes the call. The neuroscience behind this, when you actively make decision after reviewing AI analysis, you are exercising your prefrontal cortex. You are strengthening the neural pathways for synthesizing complex information, weighing trade-offs, tolerating uncertainty, and trusting your judgment. AI does the computational heavy lifting. You do the judgment heavy lifting. That's how you use AI without atrophying. This is the collaboration. Second, they practice judgment reps. Regulated leaders treat decision-making like a muscle. They deliberately practice making decisions, especially small ones, without AI. One CEO I worked with implemented a judgment protocol. Every day, make at least 5 decisions without consulting AI. They could be small, like which email to respond to first, what order to tackle projects, how to structure a team meeting, which candidate seems like the best culture fit. A quick secret, I don't believe in culture fit, I believe in culture add. Well, that's a discussion for another day. The decisions didn't have to be perfect. The point was to exercise judgment. Over 90 days, his prefrontal cortex activation during strategic decisions increased measurably. We tracked this through cognitive assessment, not fMRI, but the pattern was clear. His confidence in making strategic calls without AI validation increased. His decision speed increased. His tolerance for ambiguity increased because he was doing judgment reps. Think of it like this. If you only lifted weights when the gym told you to, you had never built strength. If you only make decisions when AI tells you to, you will never build judgment. Third, they regulate the nervous system before delegated to AI. This is the core regulated leadership principle. Dysregulated leaders offload to AI to avoid the discomfort of uncertainty. The decision feels hard, amygdala fires, anxiety spikes. Let me just AI so I can get relief. That's dysregulation. Regulated leaders notice the discomfort, regulate the nervous system, then decide if AI input is helpful. The decision feels hard. They notice anxiety, They breathe, they ground, they regulate, and ask, do I need more data or do I need to trust my judgment? If they need data, ask AI for analysis. If they need to trust their judgment, they make the call without AI. The difference is regulation comes before delegation. Dysregulated leaders use AI to avoid discomfort. Regulated leaders regulate discomfort, then choose how to use AI strategically. Regulation comes before delegation. We teach the full nervous system regulation protocol in the Regulated Leadership Workshop. I'm just previewing it here. But the basic principle is pause, breathe, ground, then decide. And you might think, oh my God, that's so simple. Why didn't anybody think about it before? Because no one thinks about it when it's time to think about it. Fourth, they build AI-free zones for strategic thinking. One CHRO I coached was experiencing severe judgment atrophy. She could not make hiring decisions without running candidates through 3 different AI assessment tools. She could not draft organization restructuring plans without AI generating 5 options first. She had lost confidence in her strategic instinct. We created AI-free zones. 1 hour every morning, no AI, just strategic thinking. She had worked on the hardest problems, the ones with no clear answer, without any AI input. At first, it was excruciating. Her amygdala screamed, "You are going to make a mistake without validation." But she stayed regulated, breathed through the discomfort, exercised judgment. After 6 weeks, something shifted. She started trusting her strategic instincts again. She could feel when a decision needs more data, so use AI, versus when it needs synthesis, use your judgment. Her executive presence strengthened because her team saw her leading, not deferring. AI-free zones rebuild judgment capacity. It's like rehab for atrophied neural pathways. Fifth, they ask better questions of AI. Dysregulated leaders ask AI, "What should I do?" Regulated leaders ask AI, "What am I missing?" The question determines the relationship. What should I do is offloading judgment. What am I missing? Using AI to strengthen judgment. Example, dysregulated leader will say, "ChatGPT, should I fire this underperforming executive?" Regulated say, "ChatGPT, I'm considering whether to fire this underperforming executive. What factors should I consider that I might be overlooking? What are the second order effects of each options?" Same AI, different questions, different outcome. The dysregulated leader gets a recommendation and follows it. The regulated leader gets analysis, synthesizes it with their judgment, and makes the call. Whenever I'm asking something of my AI, no matter which one I use, I always say, push back, ask me question, plays devil's advocate. Tell me what I'm missing. Tell me what's behind the scene. Show me my blind spots. And let me know how you concluded your thoughts and how you got there and what was your reasoning. No matter what, this is the gold that you end every single prompt or question you ask your AI. Sixth, they measure judgment capacity, not just AI usage. Most company measures how many employees are using AI. Regulated leaders measure, are your executives preserving judgment capacity while using AI or not? How do you measure that? Track decisions quality over time. Are strategic pivots getting faster or slower? Are leaders making calls with conviction or constantly seeking validation? Are teams confident in leadership decisions or second-guessing themselves? One company I worked with implemented quarterly judgment audits. Executive made strategic decisions, then reflected. Did I make this call myself or defer to AI? Was I regulated or dysregulated when I make it? Did I exercise judgment or outsource it? The audit revealed patterns. Executives who are using AI heavily but preserving judgment high performance, high confidence. Executives who are using AI heavily with judgment atrophy, high anxiety, low confidence, slow decisions. The difference wasn't AI usage, it was whether judgment was being preserved. So let me bring this home. MIT research shows AI is quietly eroding executive judgment. When you delegate decisions to algorithms, even small ones, your prefrontal cortex neural pathways weaken. Dysregulated leaders use AI as a crutch, offloading judgment to avoid the discomfort uncertainty. They wake up one day unable to make strategic call without AI validation. Regulated leaders do something different. They use AI for data processing, not decision making. They practice judgment reps deliberately. They regulate the nervous system before delegating to AI. They build AI-free zones for strategic thinking. They ask better questions of AI. They measure judgment capacity, not just AI usage. The difference? Dysregulated leaders let AI think for them. Regulated leaders use AI to amplify their thinking. And in 2026, that's the difference between strategic leadership and algorithmic dependence. Want to know if you are experiencing judgment atrophy? Take the Shadow AI assessment. The link will be in the description. One of the diagnostic questions measures judgment delegation pattern. It will show you where you are preserving judgment capacity and where it's atrophying. Book a free 30-minute strategy call at my link here also in the description. We will go through your results and I'll show you the full judgment preservation protocol we teach in the Regulated Leadership Workshop. This includes nervous system regulation technique for decision making under uncertainty, the AI free zone framework for rebuilding judgment capacity, how to measure judgment health in your executive team. You can also download the free 2026 AI Leadership Planning Guide. I am Sahar Andradi, your AI Whisperer. This is AI Cafe Conversations, the only podcast teaching regulated leadership for AI disruption. Next Friday, what regulated leaders know about the two-tiered workforce that dysregulated leaders don't. The AI class divide is fracturing your organization. And here is how to see it before it destroyed stress. See you then. Before I leave, show me some love. Save this episode for later use. Share it with someone that needs to hear it. Subscribe to the podcast. Give me a review. It really helps us get out there. We always need your help, but thank you for making us one of the top 2% global podcasts. Again, we are unique in what we offer. If you want to email me at sahar@saharconsulting.com, LinkedIn, Sahar Andradi, Instagram, Sahar the Reinvent Coach. We are looking for guests, but very specific kind of guests. Guests that speak about neuroscience and leadership, guests that might be building new AI companies. I'm not looking to sell someone that sells software or hardware or something that has nothing to do with the human-centered AI. You can email me, sahar@saharconsulting.com. Till we meet again, peace out.
1,